And you're very welcome for the first time today to the Aviva fan studio, where kickoff is fast approaching between the Republic of Ireland and Austria. The fans are in confident form. Can I say, check out these suits, by the way. It's absolutely spectacular. I know one man who's very jealous is Alan Cawley. He wants them later on. Okay, let's get down to business, because the Republic of Ireland team has been named, and the big questions this week: who would start in goal? Would it be Kieran Westwood or Darren Randolph? It is Darren Randolph. And as for the centre-half issue, who would start there? Would it be John O'Shea or would it be Richard Keogh? It's neither, because Kevin Long is a surprise starter there. That's the team. Gents, we'll talk about the team in a few minutes, but let's talk about talking points, and in particular the inclusion. When you see Long inclusion here, you think somehow Shane Long is fit to play.
Yeah, I think one of the lads mentioned that earlier, that it was a surprise to see Shane Long starting at centre half, but obviously it's Kevin Long, and it is a surprise inclusion, Bernard. I didn't think he'd go with O'Shea. I thought it was probably Richard Keogh who was more likely to play at centre half alongside Duffy, with his experience as well, because you look at the back four, it is slightly inexperienced now, and obviously Seamus Coleman's not around, so you have Cyrus Christie, hasn't been getting much game time at club level as well. Duffy, he's probably the leader of that back four now at that stage, and also you have Stephen Ward, who's playing left full, who's the most experienced out of him. I think it's a surprise, it's a big call from the manager, but let's just hope it pays off for him.
Yeah, what about that one, Clinton? Because of course he played the last 3 games of the season for Burnley, but he was a surprise starter last week against Uruguay. Now he's in from the start, making his competitive debut.
Yeah, I think he's only had 1 cap, so it's a big call, and Martin O'Neill, he likes to do that, throw in funny little spanners and that, so it's a difficult one, but I'd have put John O'Shea in. I just think you need experience. I played with Shazy for a long time. I think he's a leader, and he would have helped the back three beside him, so it's a massive call, and he's got big shoes to fill to do well in there long. But I think he's a good player. I think Sean Dyche has talked about him. He played the last 3 games in the Premier League and done ever so well. So good luck to the lad.
If we're surprised by that one, we're probably not surprised to see Randolph gets the nod ahead of Kieran Westwood.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see why. He's very, very loyal, Martin O'Neill. He sticks to what he knows, and Randolph's done ever so well. Might have made one mistake recently in a friendly, but it probably is a close call, because Westwood is knocking on the door. I played with Kieran Westwood. He's a superb goalie. He's unbelievable. He's had a good season at Sheffield Wednesday, and in a friendly recently he made another top draw save. So he'll be pushing Randolph, so he'll be under massive pressure.
Bizarrely, because of team shape and stuff, it kind of came down between a decision between Glenn Whelan and Wes Houlihan, as odd as that seems, because they're polar opposites as regards players, but he's gone with Glenn. He
has, yeah, and for me that's a bit of a surprise as well, Bernard. Not so much that he's starting Whelan, but leaving Houlihan out. I think it's imperative that you have Wezzo in the team. He gets us playing, gets other lads playing as well, and it's a huge void when we don't see him playing. You can actually see how much we miss him, because we never really tend to hold on to possession as well when he's in the team. I think, looking at it now, I wouldn't have gone with Whelan, but I think when you look at the back four that we've already touched on, and the inexperience of the back four, maybe that's why he's gone with Whelan, just to offer him that little bit more protection. He spoke during the week, Martin O'Neill, about being on the front foot, being really attack-minded in the approach, and let's take the game to the Austrians. It's anything but starting Whelan, and I'm disappointed with that. I would have much rather see Wezzo starting.
Talking point 3, I suppose, Austria in disarray. Of course, one of the players is missing because he's off to get married this weekend. There's a few lads made themselves unavailable. They're down to the 3rd or 4th choice goalkeeper as well. Surely they're there for the taking. Yeah,
definitely. I don't get these footballers that arrange it. I understand you can arrange your wedding, but when you've got big qualifiers and you're there to play for your country, I don't get it. You can put it off. I'm sure the wife will wait a few days. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure she'll wait. Some won't, some will, but I'm sure they'll wait a few days to play a big one. So they're in disarray, and it's a great time to play them, and I do believe we'll come out victorious this afternoon.
If you work away from Clinton Morrison's maritorial advice there as well, let's have a look at how we think they're going to line out.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the shape. Obviously the back four picks itself in the sense that where they're all going to play. Christie will come in at right full ward. This is the interesting part of the pitch really, because Whelan, I think, will sit alongside Arthur. As I mentioned already, I would have much rather see Hendrick play alongside Arthur, because Arthur still gives you that defensive cover, plus he's far better on the ball. He'll get us playing down Whelan, and I would have loved to have seen Wezzo in this area, the spaces that he loves to pick up and creating for these 3. I think Brady, again, he's probably going to play on the right of a 3, not his ideal position. Clinton seems to think they may swap Hendrick and Brady. Obviously Walters will play up front, a battering ram. Walters gives you everything. He's a great player, and McLean has been the leader really. He's scored 3 goals in the group. He's been the leading scorer. He's become the talisman in this group so far, and I think we're expecting a big game from him, but that's how I see it shaping up anyway.
Yeah, I'd agree with him, but as he said, Wes is a bit, Wes Houlihan should have been playing there. He's key, because if you look at the surface, it's a carpet, so you would need your good players to get on the ball and make things happen. So if you're playing in one of these 3 and you're looking behind, these 3 are all good footballers, but they're no Wes Houlihan, so it's going to be hard, and Ariata can do exactly what Glenn Whelan can, but is probably 5-6 times better than Glenn on the ball. So it's a big call, but the leader is James McLean, and that's where our source of goals comes from. So if he can have a good game today, I think we'll be very successful.
Do you go along with Al? Brady starts here as opposed to in there?
Yeah, I think they'll start like that, but then I think they'll change because Jeff is not really a player. I know Jeff is not a player that wants to get on the ball. He wants to drive and make long-busting runs into the box, so he could change. Where if we're not getting good possession in the midfield, Brady could go in there and start making things happen because I think Robbie Brady is very good on the ball as well.
The plus point of having him in there, Bernard, is obviously he'll get beyond Walters because we need someone obviously supporting Walter as well. You can't have him isolated up front. So the plus point of having Hendrick there is his energy, his legs. He will get beyond Walters, which is what we need because if he's coming to looking to bring midfielders into the game, you need runners in behind. McLean will do that naturally. Brady will be inclined to cut in on his his favoured left foot. But I agree, he's better in central areas as well. I think they'll start like that, but don't be surprised to see him come into the middle.
Thanks a million, gents. We'll be talking to the gents just before kick-off to get predictions and also testing our confidence meter here to see how confident these fans are ahead of kick-off, which is fast approaching here in the Aviva Fan Studio. Thanks a million.